Hey everybody, Ryan F. MTG here, and I just got done streaming my round 3 for the Teppen Invitational Invitational against Freddybabes this time around. Yesterday it was against UK Tyrant. We won, we went 3-2, so we advanced to the round 3. I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time, just a little bit differently. I'll show you the QR codes for the decks that I drafted, so I got to play with, and then I'll show the matches. However, I think some of the matches I did some good plays and some bad plays, so I kind of want to show them through a replay system that the game allows and fast forward, pause, and maybe do a little bit more in-depth talk rather than just, my last one about round 2 was just my streaming conversation and commentary, and then after we'll do a little recap. So here's some of the QR codes and then we'll jump into the games. The first deck up is Rathalos. This is Blazing Wall. Basically, we want to use Blazing Wall as another way to keep our Rashids and Keen Cerberuses around. This plays very similar to most of the Ryu type of deck. Here's the Nergigante list. This is just kind of your stereotypical Nergigante with some creatures to deal yourself some life. Then we have some payoffs of creatures that get pumped or give us some life when we are at a low life total. Then followed up with some hard removal as well as, 3 heavy hitter legendaries. This is the QR code for my Wesker Ouroboros deck. I did not play a lot of Ouroboros leading up to this tournament for practice because I played a lot during the Worlds qualifier and I really like this deck, and I actually just copy-pasted my own list since I was so key on doing other things for other decks. I'm not sure if this is 100% where you want to be with the Ouroboros deck because there are some new toys, but I still think this is a very solid one. So if you have this list in the previous season, definitely play it and you could do very good. Here's the Chun-Li code. Yet again, just a nice beefy creatures, ways to pump them up and deal damage with, G and then Honda, and then of course, just some heavy hitter legendary creatures. This is the X deck. This X deck is green and purple, so we are using Charge Shot to basically try to pump up our creatures using, auto heal, mixed medicine, stuff like that. And then we're doing D's and Trish and just kind of the good resin creatures from purple to try to just make these big purple units that our opponent cannot deal with. So overall, the heroes that we drafted were Rathalos, Nergigante, Wesker, Chun, and X. And then Freddybabes drafted, he did get first pick, so he got Ryu, Neuro, Dante, Jill, Morgan. And then I made his Ryu ban, and then his ban was my Rathalos. So let's jump into some games. Okay, the first game is my Nergigante versus his Dante, which were both high picks for us. I will be fast forwarding and then we'll kind of pause it a little bit when action goes. So this is a pretty good hand. We just have a lot of ways to deal ourselves some life to get to our spike launch, and then ways to pump our creatures with William Berkner, stuff like that. He kind of has the start of his co that he wants. However, we're kind of in a good position because we can obliterate here. And it's nice that he used his hook shot, so we kind of got a 2-for-1. And we're still just dealing ourselves some life, even though we've dealt ourselves, I believe, quite a bit already. Our Burn Dynarex and nothing are really online, so there's no reason to play those cards. He has a Ibuki, but we're very close to using our Spike Launch, which is perfect because it can deal with Ibuki in one hit. We played the Melphis there because it actually gets the pump since we're at 15, rather than if we played Burn Dynarex, it would just be a 2-4 because we are not at 10. So that was game 1, went very well in our favor. Our draws definitely was pretty good, and killing Ibuki with our Spike Launch was great. Next up is good old Wesker Ouroboros, the classic, versus the Nero. So obviously Nero has a lot of big beefy creatures that can be hard to deal with. Obliteration is very good. This hand is not great, but it's fine. We have a Tyrant. We have now 2 removal spells. We try a Spike Launch there because we do have 2 removal spells for backup, so just in case if they did have Awakened Power, we can still deal with the G. So, if they didn't have Awakened Power, feels great, even though, we had to waste a lot of resources, so it wasn't the best trade, but it was still a pretty decent trade for us. We're kind of forced into obliteration. This is where I want to pause it. We obliterated that, even though we could have maybe just dropped our Tyrant down there, the slow Tyrant, and I think we should have actually dropped the slow Tyrant, because we need to get something in the graveyard for Rebirth, or for our critical art. So I think that that could have been maybe not the most optimal play that we did. Let's keep fast forwarding. We're both just gaining some MP here. Because now we're dropping our Tyrant. I'm playing the regular Tyrant there. That was great. Feels very good. They shield up, so that means they keep their 2-2, but that's okay. We're going to get a fast Tyrant, so, you know, definitely not a great Mad Massacre, but it does get rid of the shield, so it did something. Diablo's always scary. Unfortunately, it survives with 2 HP left. Kind of waited there because I wanted the slow Tyrant rather than maybe just dropping a zombie, and I felt like it was okay to take a hit. You know, using the life as a resource there. It's great that we got Devil with our Rebirth. That's why I wasn't using our critical this whole time, because now the critical does actually exile the card. So with having a Rebirth and even a Living Death in hand, I didn't really want to be using my critical. However, I think I waited a little bit too long to start using my critical, since there is the cooldown time. So I think I think my brain was in the right place, but we got a little bit too greedy waiting so long. Like right now, we should be doing the critical again, rather than waiting for the Devil to die. Because, you know, if we got a slow Tyrant back, we could self-lispiration it. If we got a fast Tyrant back, that's just dealing a lot of damage, and it is a damage race right now. So I kind of finally decided a little bit too late to be like, wait, that's what we should do. They had the Dino that to seal our slow Tyrant, which was very good for them. This is where was a critical mistake. We obviously should have used Selfless Predation. We were at 3. And if we use Selfless Predation on either our Tyrant or Zombie, probably just our Zombie, we would not have died with that hit because we would have been at 10, and we were taking 6 right there. 10 is more than 6. So we would have gone down to 4 life, and then the Devil would have traded with the flipped Nero. So that was actually completely punt city right there. I'm not going to, you know, say it was not. And that felt real bad. And as soon as it happened, it was like, oh my god, that was a punt. Because if we did the Selfless Predation plan, it's not 100% that we win, but our Devil... So we Selfless Predation the top zombie. Our Devil hits their Nero, so it trades. And then the Tyrant probably hits them for lethal. But even if they drop something there, the game still goes on. We still have a Rebirth. We have Ouroboros on deck. So that was definitely a punt. So, you know, feels bad. Now the set's 1-1. So after losing the second match, Wesker versus Nero, you know, it was very well played on Freddy's part of the Nero, and then I also kind of played a little sloppy and definitely punted towards the later end. I wasn't feeling that great, and I could tell that, you know, I was a little, not necessarily full tilted, but a little tilted, and so I decided to run Wesker back. Freddy did Jill, and as you can see, I played my first card of the game, and I was the first play of the game, at 2:31 left on the clock, and it was a zombie. My hand was miserable against Jill, and I had a bad hand, I mulliganed into a worse hand, and I kind of just lost track of time because I netted 10 MP, he obviously netted 10 MP, and he wants me to move first. I kind of had to move first because I wasn't really realizing that they could just wait out the game and play some rush creatures to then kill me with, you know, very little time on the clock, because also when Teppen goes to time, whoever has the highest life wins. Jill is, like Ryu, is going to probably have the higher life over Wesker. So I kind of was not in a great mental processing or really thinking about what I was doing until it's like, oh wait, the time is already half over. there's no way that I'm really winning this. I have to start playing. And then as you can kind of see, like, I was forced into playing a zombie. They played a Rashid and a guy right away, exactly why I didn't really want to play a zombie. But, Freddy had no reason to start playing, so I should have, as soon as I netted my 10 MP with, 4 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock still, I should have then played my zombie, forced him to do the Rashid and guy plan just way earlier, so then we could actually have a game on our hands. Because as this feels real bad, right? This is not particularly a game that, because we're already at 26 life, he's at 30, we're probably not getting to deal that much damage in time. So we're kind of like trying to scramble. Unfortunately, we don't have anything in our yard as of right now, so we're really forced, or anything that we want to get back, so we're really just forced to wait to do False Throne and then Ouroboros right away. So ultimate weapon, obviously we just gain some life to negate the ultimate weapon. Kind of one of the downsides of ultimate weapon is that the hero art is on a card, but it still got rid of our devil. Yeah, we gained some life, but we don't have this heavy hitter devil. And then Lady just doing what she does, just kind of wiping the board. We use Spike. We're at 15, he's at 30. 1 minute, 7 seconds on the clock. We're not really getting this. We can rebirth here, but we're rebirthing for a slow tyrant. So better than nothing for sure, but I just kind of call it like there's less than a minute on the clock. We're at 15, they're at 30. There's really no way that we are winning that match. Yeah, I conceded there because there was less than a minute left on the clock, and we were already at 15, they were at 30. There's no way that we were actually going to do over 15 damage when they had so much more MP in store. To be fair, I probably should not have conceded right away, but I kind of already punted the previous match, and then that match I punted because I got in my own head and wasn't playing my zombie. Basically, I should have thrown my zombie out there and then just started the game. But no, I wasted 2.5 minutes on clock, which Jill is 100% okay to do. So I did concede there. I don't think that there was any reason to keep on playing, but in a tournament, I definitely should not have conceded. I should have just at least played it out for that small chance or percentage point of maybe making something, or at least just, finishing it. I had just lost twice with Wesker, but I really wanted to win with him, so I decided to run him back for a third time, being like, okay, well, if I don't punt, if I play solid, I feel like I can win with Wesker. So we tried it again. I went with Zombie there over the False Throne, because False Throne is great to do in response to a action spell, and Morgan puts a lot of action spells, so I felt like later on we could get some more value with that. Then it was nice that we had the Mad Massacre and Selfless Predation to counter the Brainwash, and then, it got countered, but then we won that battle. We now False Throne using it for free because of the response of 2 MP, so that feels good. Now we have a lot of devils in our yard. I just traded that Tyrant because that Tyrant's not going to do much, so just to buffer our life total, and our hand was pretty stinky, but now we drew Living Death, which is awesome because we have 3 devils in the yard. And they just played a Ko, so this is perfect timing. It's kind of sick. I think RNG was on my side for this match because it was like, yo, you've had 2 rough matches, you played a little bit loose, your opponent's been punishing you. Here's 3 devils. So this looks very, very good, kind of just going through the ropes of, there could be ways out, but this is just like, okay, this is going to be winning. We just obliterate that on sight, because there's no reason to not. That unit can definitely get out of hand. We have all the MP in the world because we have devils in all 3 slots. So Freddy gives himself 30 more seconds of no damage, or they lose the game, but they surrender because maybe they were trying to draw into a board wipe. That could have worked, but then they would not have enough MP to actually win the game after that. So that game felt so solid, so nice. RNG definitely was on our side for that one. So I have 2 wins, Freddie has 2 wins, so this is the final match because it is best of 5, so the first person to 3 wins takes it all and goes to top 4. I could pick between Chun-Li and X. I decided to go with the Chun-Li list just because it's nice big creatures, and he had Dante or Morgan, and those were very similar lists, so I felt like Chun-Li had a little bit more game because it also had more seals disarms, and that is very good against Dante and Morgan. So this is a pretty good starting hand because we have Diablos there. So Diablos is great. So we decide to net a little bit MP so we can do Diablos into something rather than just on a empty board. We could have maybe played it a little bit sooner just to try. This is where the game starts to go south, in my opinion. I did not play this game particularly well, and this is the first thing. So we played a Diablos. I think maybe we should have played it a little bit sooner, but that's debatable. We waited in order to be able to more double unit right away. So we played Diablos in the middle row. That's what we want to do. They played Devil Hunter Dante. I played my dragon in the same lane. I do not think that that is correct. The dragon versus Devil Hunter Dante wins. There's no reason for me to put my dragon there. I should have put E Honda in the top lane, I believe, because we want to get a unit out, 1, to buff up the Diablos, and 2, E Honda will then deal damage the next time we play something. So then we could have waited to play the dragon and at least get a trigger off the E Honda. That would have been much better. But for some reason, I do not do that. I play the dragon in the same lane, and we start to get heavily punished, obviously, for it, because he triggers Devil Hunter Dante, flips it, becomes this big threat. And then already we lost our dragon, and now I feel pretty in a scramble motion. So I put Honda down there, hoping that he can hit and then we can trigger, but man, do the hits keep coming. Ada to do a couple points of damage, Buki to really do a lot of damage. And they gave Ibuki stealth, so Diablos does not hit it as much, or does not defend. It will still attack and hit. So we deal with the Dante, which is good. But we still have this Ibuki, which feels very awkward, and it's over. Yeah, definitely did not play that one particularly good. I was just kind of staring at my hand. I definitely just needed to play a creature in the top unit, but from the get-go of when I paused it, I think from the get-go we should have played our Diablos, and then they played their Devil Hunter Dante, and then on the very top lane we play our Honda, so then once we net some more MP we would, just play one of our other 4-drops in the bottom lane. And I think that could have changed it. It still was a rough draw because his draw was very good and ours was a little bit clunky. Also against Chun-Li, like that's where we would love to have like a Nero hero art to then like try to auto growth rather than Chun-Li just netting the MP. This was such an aggressive race that netting MP was not necessarily what we needed to be doing there. So overall, the matches did not go our way. We went 2-3, so that means we are out of the Teppen Ambassador Invitational, which feels bad, but Freddy played it very strong, so that means he moves on to the top 4, which will be this Friday, and I believe it's streamed at 2 o'clock Central Time. So it's Freddy and 3 other people. I know I'll be watching it, rooting for, maybe Freddy, because the person that beats me would be nice if they take home the final prize. But before I end this little video, I kind of wanted to talk about the plays that I did, which is exactly why I did the replay. So then I know I made some mistakes. I know I made some good plays. So I kind of wanted to replay and rewatch the videos with you guys to kind of say more my thought process, or pause it when it's like, no, this is a big punt. Because also a lot of my punts or misplays were not punts in retrospect. They were like just punts, period. It's not like I was playing around something. It's like, I just didn't selfless predation there. I just didn't do this. Like, I should have done those things, and they were wrong. And it's nice to go back and to make sure that's like, no, those were actual punts. They definitely were. It is a little hard for me to go back and to watch those punts because I know I was not playing good. I felt it. I was kind of a little tilted. I was not playing good. I was streaming. I was having fun, but I was not in a competitive mindset. And that's one thing that this Teppen Ambassador Invitational has taught me. And man, do I hope that they do more, because it was a lot of fun. But I kind of was talking to my chat after this for a good 15, 20 minutes about what I can do next time and how I can improve for the next Ambassador Invitational. Because for me, I am a competitive player. I like to be competitive. I like to practice. I like to tune my decks. I like to be competitive to give myself the biggest edge to win. And I have gone to a lot of competitions. For a little bit over a whole year, I grinded the SCG Tour and went to every single tournament that they were doing. For those who don't know, SCG is Star City Games. They run Magic events kind of all over the Midwest and East Coast of the United States. So I went to a lot of those, and, I did good at some, I did bad at some, but I'm pseudo used to playing in a big convention hall with a lot of noise around me, or being on a feature match in the feature match area. And some of those games that I've played, I made top 8 once, and that was really nerve-wracking, but I felt good. I felt like I could actually play. Even though sometimes I was nervous, I still felt like I was in my element. And so I was like, oh, when I was invited to this Teppen Invitational, it's like, oh, I've played in competitive tournaments before. I kind of know how this feels because I have practice. I might not be the best at it, but at least I have practice at it. And I think that was not great because, yes, I do have practice being competitive and in a tournament scene. However, Teppen is very different than Magic. One, just game-wise, it's very different. Yes, they are both card games, but Teppen is so fast-paced. It's much more like a fighting game in that way. Magic is not. I can tank or really think about a play for, 30 seconds or so and then play it. Teppen, you cannot really do that. You will get punished. So high-level Teppen, if I'm a little bit nervous, well, I'm used to Magic where I can take my time, kind of recenter myself. With Teppen, you can't really do that. You need to be on and making plays at all times. And it's not just the gameplay that's different, it's also the tournament that's different. Like I said, I'm used to going to Magic tournaments in a big convention hall with a lot of other people there. Yes, it's very noisy and can be somewhat distracting, but that's almost my comfort zone at this time. And it's weird to say that my comfort zone is a noisy convention hall, but that's what I'm used to. I'm kind of used to trying to tune that all out so it becomes white noise and just focus on my match. Where, yeah, I do stream, I do make videos, but usually that's just me hanging out with chat or me, talking to myself like right now for a YouTube video. And that's a little bit different because it's not competitive. Yes, I want to do good and show you guys good plays, but then, hey, if I make a mistake, we'll talk about it. But actually being very hyper competitive while streaming is something that I'm not particularly used to, as well as I'm playing a competitive event in my own room, right? I'm on my computer, I'm by myself. Yes, I'm talking to chat. However, there's not hundreds of other people around me. There's not 100 other people talking. There's not players to my left and right. I'm much more isolated. I think with the speed of Teppen versus Magic, also how I'm used to being in a convention center compared to at my own place, as well as just, Magic, I play paper Magic, so cards are in my hand compared to Teppen is on my tablet. I think all those things add up to me, thinking that this would be much more similar to a Magic event, where, yes, it is a high-level competitive event. However, it is different, and I don't think I was prepared for the differences, because after my match, I was a little tilted. I wasn't tilted because I lost. It was more tilted because I know I could play better. I know I made mistakes, and that's what I didn't like. Because I'm okay with losing. That's part of playing games. That's part of being competitive. Losing will happen, and I've lost a lot. I know how it is to lose. Sometimes some losses will affect me more, but this one, it affected me because I know I can do better. I know sometimes talking about this stuff can be a little bit dry or boring, but I find it very valuable because, in my opinion, I want to play competitively to get better. Yes, part of that is just your pure skills at that game, so Teppen in this example, but also it's the mindset. My mindset was not good today, and it showed. I made mistakes that I usually would not make, especially when I was trying to concentrate. I almost was concentrating too much that I was just playing very loose. So I know this might have been a little bit more of a Debbie Downer moment and talk. However, I hope it was somewhat constructive, and I hope that some people do find some use for these types of conversations. And yet again, I want to reiterate, I'm not making up excuses for why I lost. I lost because I played bad. If Freddie played a lot better, he deserved to win, but I want to look back to see what I could do better gameplay wise and mentality wise to be like, okay, I was not playing great. How can I be better next time? So I will see you all later. Thanks for watching, and I hope that there will be more Teppen Invitationals for me to stream and make YouTube in the future.